Hey everybody, this is Michael Parent with Michael Parent Consulting Services. Today what I wanted to do is show you a project that I've been working on that I think is a good use of business automation in kind of an administrator process. So I'll take you through what the business problem is, what challenge we were facing, and I'll show you how we solved it. What I have in front of us is a process map, and essentially what was going on is a compensation department was working with some employees, and they changed their compensation to have more commission. So they were getting more kind of this variable incentive pay, but there were certain regulatory issues that we faced. And one of the biggest ones was that we had to ensure that if they were going to go to this compensation plan, they had to get at least 1.5 times the minimum wage. So that is what we needed to do. And what we found out is that what we'll call HRIS, the Human Resources Information System, the Workdays, the PeopleSofts, those types of big enterprise systems, they didn't have this ability to look at hours worked and then bring in also this commission data, right? So they have two aspects of their pay. They have a base rate, and then they have the commissions data associated with that base rate based on their production. They're kind of like salespeople in this role. So we had to come up with this issue, or we had to come up with a way to present to the general counsel of the organization that people are in regulatory compliance with the federal government rules, or they're not. And we need a way to figure out what the current state is, and then obviously how to improve it and make sure that we're compliant with government regulations. So what we did is we came up with kind of like a process map here where the people will submit their time cards, the managers will approve their time, and then they will be emailed to a compensation specialist. And that compensation specialist will then have to take this data, add it together with a separate file that she's getting from someplace else, a commission report, and then reconcile the two together to figure out and then calculate whether or not these people are making enough that they are in compliant with the federal regulations. So as you can think about this, there's a lot of possibilities to go wrong. Obviously, the person submitting the time card to begin with has an approval process from their manager, but then the manager has to submit it to this employee compensation person. That compensation person then has to take all these files and match them up, get them into one file, and then reconcile them to some other file that has commission data, right? So what we did is we had this thing that I call an extractor. And what it does is this employee compensation person will be able to put all of the files in one folder, and then the extractor is going to go open all of the files and then bring them into a master table, and then close that file, and then open the next file and close that and bring that into the master file, and so on and so forth. And then they'll do the same with the commission data. It will go in, open that folder, grab all the information it needs, and then close that document. So it's quite effortless for the compensation person to do it. And let me show you how it works. So what I have here is I'll pull up a test file. This is essentially, I have submitted, call my name Michael, I have submitted my time card, and now I'm going to be acting as my manager. So these were all the hours that I worked, and I'm going to go ahead and approve it. And it says update complete. And now when I go to this table, there we have it that all of my data is in this table. And now what I, as my manager, would do is I would send this to the employee compensation person. Okay, I'm going to close that out real quick. And then this employee compensation person would get it. And what they would do is they would tell Excel, this is my extractor now, they would tell Excel where that information is that I want to extract this information from, where my commissions data are, and then where I want to put these files when they're done. So we also have this kind of good file retention best practice where we're not just opening them up and then closing them. we're moving their locations so that way we know which files we have worked and which ones we haven't. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to show you what these files look like. I have this thing called the extract. When I go in there, my test file's in there that I was just showing you. It was just approved. I go into commissions. I have this commissions data from November, let's say. I have an archive that will have the commissions in there as well. And if we hit extract, what we'll see is it will run a little bit. It's going to open up some files, and it says update complete. And now if I go to the master table, what I have is all the data that has been collected. And actually, this is all archive stuff. I changed my employee number to protect the innocent. I have all this data here, and I also have the date that I entered it in. So today, I entered it in at varying days, either this past week or right now on the 1st of February. If I go to the calculation, you can see here what it's doing is it's pulling my P number. It's calculating the total hours I worked. It's calculating my total hours that I was compensated for, whether I had holiday pay or something like that. And then it also has my commissions paid. And now I'm getting this hourly rate, and I'm getting the ratio that's really important for regulatory purposes to make sure that I'm being compensated at a rate above 1.5 times the minimum wage. So as we can see here now, it did that with just a press of a button. There was no copying, pasting like you might expect. And though this was just one file, this could be several tens of files, right? 50, 60 different managers submitting their employees' time cards. We can see here in the archive now, we go in here and that test file has been moved. And that's very helpful for us because it means that it has been successfully updated. So very quickly, with just a couple presses of the buttons, we're able to update employee time cards as well as reconcile them for regulatory compliance with different commissions compensation. So all in all, a pretty, I think, slick improvement to their current process, their current state process, and what would have been a very manual, very time-consuming process to open up each of these files, grab the information they need, and then essentially do worksheet formulas to ensure that they're compliant with the laws. So a happy customer to be sure.